You was born and raised in Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
What was your childhood like? What was it like growing up in
Bad.
Philly?
My parents were drug addicts.
Okay.
When I was younger, I didn't really understand much about it. But as I got older, I started to learn more and more about it. I wasn't going to school. They weren't making me go to school. From time to time, they would have me go to pick up their medicine,
Mm,
not realizing what I was doing, would do it
gotcha.
for them. Plus, they were my parents. I thought I was helping them. After I got older, I found out I was just going to get their drugs for them.
Wow.
And then I ended up in a foster home where I was raped multiple times. And then after that, I kept running away. And then they sent me to a placement in Tennessee. My father died from Hep C in 2014. And then my mom died in 2021.
In Philadelphia, each year since 2017, between 16% and 18% of the city's homeless population has been unsheltered. The 2022 report also notes that on any given night, a total of 4,489 people experience homelessness in the city.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Rico the Trainer. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know what I do. Today, I got Josh with me. What's up, Josh? How you feeling, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, man. Tell the people what's your name and where you from.
My name is Joshua Peters. I'm from Philly. I've lived here my whole life.
Okay, and how old are you?
31.
31. Number one question: how long you been living out here on the streets of Philadelphia?
Since October. Since October 22.
October 2022. So
Yeah.
almost a year. How has that been so far for you?
It's been really rough. There are days I don't eat, nights I don't sleep. I'm lucky if I get a shower 2-3 times a week. It's really bad.
Mm. And have you ever tried being in a shelter?
Yes, and all my property got stolen.
Wow, that's
2 different times.
I hear a lot of people don't like the shelters and things like that happen. Do you ever lose property being out here?
No, I don't.
Okay. What's the treatment like from the people here in Philadelphia?
Rude. A lot of people are rude. You
Oh, yeah.
occasionally get people who genuinely want to help, but most of the time it's just dirty looks, rude comments, people ignoring you like you don't exist.
Mm. So how does it make you feel when you do come across that person that's willing to help, willing to talk to you? How does that make you feel?
Good. It's nice to know that some people still have their humanity. It's nice to know that there's still people who care.
There's some people who care, and the reason that we're doing this today is to show people that we're human, and it's okay to interact with people no matter what their circumstances are, and just to have compassion. And so hopefully somebody is seeing this, they can change the way they think, or the way they feel about people that's in these situations. And so that's why we're having this conversation. And so how did this come about for you?
Well, I used to have my own home. After my father died, I let my mother move in with me. We had this agreement where she was going to take the lease, the utilities, and all of that out of my name. And after she passed away, I found out she not only didn't, but the money that I was giving her towards the rent, towards the bills, she was not paying them and putting it in her pocket.
Oh, wow. And do you have an idea why she was doing that?
She was terminally ill, and I think that towards the end, see, before she died, she had been clean for about 12 years, and I think towards the end she relapsed.
Okay. And so you think she was just pocketing the money and using it for personal stuff?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have no proof, but knowing my mom, there's a good chance that's what it was.
Okay. So you said the home was in your name,
Yes,
and what took place after that?
I got evicted and ended up on the street.
Okay. So she, by her taking the money, that left you in debt.
Yeah,
Wow. How much debt did you have?
24,000.
How did she die, if you don't mind me asking?
Her oxygen machine malfunctioned in the middle of the night, and she suffocated.
Okay. And then after she died, how did you find out about?
I went to go over to the landlord's office to pay the rent, and he was like, "Oh, you're finally starting to pay again." I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "Well, look at this." And then showed me on his computer screen that it hadn't been paid for like a year and a half.
Did they give you a notice after that?
Yes, and
And
I had 30 days after that.
where'd you go after that?
I was staying at a motel in New Jersey for a little bit, but the owner of that sold it. Everybody had to leave, and then I ended up coming back to here. One of my friends was going to let me live with him, but he ended up screwing me and telling me never mind,
Mm.
and then I ended up on the streets.
What happened to all your property?
Most of it got stolen, most of it got lost, most of it had to just be abandoned. Majority of it was abandoned.
You started staying in Philadelphia, down here, downtown Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Where did you sleep?
benches, park
Benches,
benches and stuff, yeah.
park benches, and what's that like?
Rough. Hard on the back.
Yeah, I could imagine. And do you have issues with, like sleeping in the park, like with other people and stuff like that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
There's about 6 major parks in downtown Philadelphia. In the daytime, these are beautiful attractions for both natives and tourists, but at night, these same parks are where most of the homeless population find resting areas on benches and grass. It's really crazy to see the difference from night and day. As of last year, 2022, the city renovated these parks and put new benches like the ones you see in this video, which makes it harder to lay down and they're more for sitting.
Born and raised in Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
What was your childhood like? What was it like growing up in
Bad.
Philly?
My parents were drug addicts.
Okay.
When I was younger, I didn't really understand much about it. But as I got older, I started to learn more and more about it. I wasn't going to school. They weren't making me go to school. From time to time, they would have me go to pick up their medicine, not realizing what I was doing, would do it for them. Plus, they were my parents. I thought I was helping them. After I got older, I found out I was just going to get their drugs for them.
Wow.
And then I ended up in a foster home where I was raped multiple times. And then after that, I kept running away. And then they sent me to a placement in Tennessee. And I was there until my 18th birthday.
So after that, you came back to Philadelphia?
Yes.
And then what was things like at that age?
Different. A lot different.
What
I
were you-
didn't really know how to function.
What did you do? Did you work or did you?
Yes, I worked in a kitchen. I was a dishwasher.
Okay.
And then I ended up being a line cook. And then I lost that job.
How did you get your home and stuff like that?
My parents were still alive when I came back.
Right.
But they were like in the process of like recovery. So they let me stay with them. But then they both got ill. My father died from Hep C in 2014. And then my mom died in 2021.
How did you get the home that you had to deal with your mom with? How did you get that house?
Oh, the apartment. I knew this guy, Jimmy, and he did this diverting job where they would buy shampoo and resell it.
Okay.
And he told me, like, come with me on this 2-month trip. We went all around the country. And when I came back, he gave me $2,500. I used all of it for a down payment. The guy that he sold the product to, this shampoo to, I actually started working with him in his warehouse. And that's how I was able to continue paying the rent.
And then things took a turn.
Things took a big turn, yeah.
You hear it, man. It's multiple ways that people can end up in these situations. People don't choose this life. Everybody's story is different. And so, can't have no judgment because you just never know. You never know what somebody's circumstances is. You never know how somebody landed in this situation. And so, we're hearing it from Josh, different ways how, homelessness can take place, man.
Each person that I've dealt with has had a totally different story, which shows that you just never know how things can turn out.
What's the hardest part about being out here?
Worrying about not waking up.
Worrying about not waking up?
Worrying about if I'm going to eat that day or not.
How do you usually get your meals?
Panhandling. People will give me food. People give me a couple bucks. I'll go to Wawa, get something to eat. Doesn't happen too often, but when it does, that's the first thing I do is go get something to eat.
Got you. What are you doing currently to try to change your situation?
I'm on the welfare housing list. I'm just waiting to hear from them. Every time I see the outreach people, I talk to them because after 12 consecutive months with them having your info, they put you on this thing called 111 status, where they make you like a high priority to get you into housing.
Okay. I didn't know that. That's new to me. That's something I didn't hear
Yeah,
before. Okay. So what about places like Broad Street Ministry, the churches that, um, they give out food and housing and those type of things?
I go to. Do you know where St. Francis is?
No, I
It's
don't.
under the L between Huntington and York Dolphin.
Okay.
I usually go there for breakfast and dinners. Tuesday to Thursday, breakfast is 10 to 11. Friday to Sunday, lunch is 11:30 to 1, and then Monday dinner is 4:30 to 6.
For anybody that's seeing this and that's watching, what would you say to them, or what would you like them to know about you or your situation in general?
Sometimes when people end up in a situation like homelessness or anything, it's not always their fault.
Okay.
Sometimes it's because of something somebody else did, even though that sounds like putting the blame on someone else. Sometimes that's actually how it goes.
Mhm.
Granted, I probably could be doing a little more to make my situation better, but I feel like I do the best I can, and I didn't end up like this because I wanted to.
Got you. And what advice would you give to anybody so they won't end up in a situation like this?
It would be to pay more attention to your finances, like how I told you about my situation.
Hmm.
I should have paid more attention to see that the utilities and everything really did come out of my name. It would be to not give out trust so easily, and to just, no matter how hard it gets, don't stop trying.
Hmm.
Don't give up.
Hmm.
That's not something anybody should do, is give up.
How do you feel that the government or the city treats the homeless? How do you feel about
Terribly.
that?
Terribly. They don't
Why?
care about the homeless. They only care about the people who can put money in their pocket.
Mm.
The government only cares about the rich. They make it look like they want to help the poor. They make it look like they want to help the homeless. But when it comes down to it, they don't.
If you could do one thing different, what would it be?
When me and my mom made that agreement, I would have made sure it followed through. And I also would have, instead of giving her the money, I would have paid it myself. Or like instead of giving her cash, giving her like the money order or something.
If your situation changed today or tomorrow, what would you do to help others?
Whatever I could, honestly. Whatever I could. I would enjoy being able to help someone else. Like if I could feed someone else, I would.
Tell me a little bit about what some of the things that you've seen and gone through.
Cold nights, bad weather, violence, like people messing around. It's a tough question to answer. During the night, a lot of people who were like mentally unstable run around screaming, bothering people. Usually when that happens, I relocate to
Hmm.
get away from it, but things like that do happen.
What's the craziest experience you had since being out here?
About a week ago, I got kicked in the face.
Or how did that happen?
I was holding my sign and someone walked by me and kicked me. That's why my eye is still
You
a little
was
black now.
you was just holding your
I was just
sign
sitting there trying to get up some money for food and someone just walked by me and kicked me in the face
and just walked by you and kicked you in the face.
for no reason.
Wow, that's crazy. How?
That was actually the only time I've ever had something like that happen.
Oh yeah, that's crazy, man. Wow.
It was one of the younger kids.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, man. That's
It
that's just
happens.
crazy. Um, I've actually one of my friends, Steve. He's had a similar situation. He was actually asleep and they knocked his teeth out. It was a younger kid. Similar situation. He was asleep, and they just came and
For no reason.
for no reason he was asleep.
Why?
Yeah. So
Where did the humanity go?
it's crazy, man. Things happen, and that's why I ask to hear those type of things because they do happen, and it's unfortunate because you're not bothering nobody. I think at the time, or at least,
Yeah.
and so that's just crazy for somebody to do that. How do it feel having conversation with people?
It feels nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to talk to people sometimes.
Mhm. How often are people nice to you and talk to you, things like that?
It's pretty rare.
Pretty rare.
It's pretty rare.
But like I said, I try to be that random blessing. I know it's a small percent. I'm a part of that small percent, and I just want to continue to let people know, like you and others that's in a situation, know that there are some people that care. There's some people that gonna see this that cares. I just want to continue to shed light, and I thank you for your time and sharing your story. Just keep trying to do better for yourself, and when things do change, you know, just try to continue to progress and do the things that will not land you in this situation again. Like I said, it can happen to anybody.
Yes, it can.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want people to know. And so keep doing what you're doing, man. Thanks.
Thank you too.
As you may know, I believe exercise is the best form of therapy. So aside from connecting with the people in the struggle, I also teach them simple exercises that they can do anywhere at any time as a means to relieve their stress and feel better overall. A post-workout meal is also a must. If you would like to contribute to this mission or make a donation, you can do so by using the Cashapp or
Cheesesteak.
That was real good.
When the last time you had one?
That wasn't a real one. That wasn't a Wawa cheesesteak. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Years, actually.
Couple years?
Yeah.
How you from Philly and you ain't have a cheesesteak in a couple years? You know this the home of the cheesesteaks, man.
I know.
Philadelphia.